If you use the Insta360 X5 for virtual tours, then the settings and workflow you use are the difference between average looking photos and high quality photos. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 workflows that I've seen on the internet, and then you can decide which workflow works best for you. To take the photos, I am using the Best 360 monopod because the selfie stick is invisible in the final shot, and the tripod legs are designed to be thin so it's easy to remove in editing, and it's long enough to keep the monopod sturdy. Let's start with workflow number 1. The settings I would choose for workflow 1 is 360 photo mode, and in the settings for HDR photo there are 3 modes: off, on and AEB. I will use HDR photo on for the first workflow. The format will be set to pure shot plus raw, and I will use the highest resolution 72 megapixels, and the white balance is set to auto. With these settings, the X5 is going to take 3 bracketed photos, merge them together automatically in camera into a single photo, and for every photo taken, there is one .insp file and one .dng file. The .insp file is a JPEG photo, and the .dng file is a RAW photo. For workflow 1, I will use the .insp file, so I will drag and drop this photo into Insta360 Studio, and this is the result. The advantage of this workflow is that I can go into the media processing tab and color grade the photo. So in this example, I will lift the shadows to make the photo brighter. The result looks okay. It gets the job done. But let's zoom in to take a look at the details. If you take a look at the light, it has a harsh highlight roll-off onto the wall. Let's take a look at the window. It has a very strong HDR effect. And if we take a look at the shadow area, it's a little mushy. And this is a 72 megapixel photo. The disadvantage of using this workflow is that there is no way to remove the tripod legs in Insta360 Studio. You will need to use a third-party photo editor like Affinity Photo. So for workflow 2, I am going to use the same settings as workflow 1. So that's 360 photo mode, HDR photo on, format pure shot plus raw, resolution 72 megapixels, and white balance set to auto. In workflow 1, I edited the .insp file, but now in workflow 2, I'm going to edit the .dng file. So I will drag and drop this photo into Insta360 Studio, and it's not possible to edit a raw photo in Insta360 Studio. There is no media processing tab. So following the workflow on the internet, I will need to export this photo from Insta360 Studio so it's stitched, and then import this photo into Affinity Photo to color grade it. So to do this, I will select the photo, go to Export, Export 360 Photo, and I will save this photo in my project folder, the Stitch folder, in the HDR Auto folder, start the export, and then I'll wait for this photo to export. And now I can open this photo in Affinity Photo. So I will locate this photo in my Stitch folder, drag and drop this photo into Affinity Photo. So following the workflow on the internet, I can color grade the photo here. So I will go to Shadows and Highlights, and I will drag the shadow slider to the right to lift the shadows, and I'll drag the highlight slider to the left to reveal more detail in the window, and I will slightly increase the exposure to make the photo brighter. So all looks good in the preview. To save this photo, I will click Develop. Then I will save this photo. So I will go to File, Export, save it as the best JPEG quality, go to Export, and I'm going to save this in my Exports folder, HDR Auto, save the photo here. Then I'll go into Insta360 Studio to preview the photo. So I will locate the photo in my Exports folder, HDR Auto, and drag this photo into Insta360 Studio. And while it all looks good here, the problem is that there's always going to be a hard line in the 360 photo. And that's because when you import a DNG file into Affinity Photo and color grade it, it is not stitch line aware. So this workflow is just not usable, and this error was not demonstrated by the workflow that I saw on the internet. For workflow 3, I am using 360 photo mode, and in the settings I will change HDR photo to AEB mode, choose 7 photos, and the exposure step to the maximum plus minus 1.3, format pure shot plus raw. There is only one resolution to choose from, which is 18 megapixels, and I will leave the white balance as auto. Don't skip this part of the video just because I'm using a 18 megapixel workflow. It's just numbers. What you should really care about is the result of the photo quality. With these settings, the X5 is going to take a total of 14 photos. It's going to take 7 bracketed .insp photos, and you will know these photos are in the same bracket because this number here after the date 173229, there are 7 files with this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's also going to take 7 bracketed .dng files. Same as before, the number over here is the same for these 7 files. So in this workflow, I will work with the .insp files, and in the fourth workflow, I will work with the .dng files. To import the files into Insta360 Studio, I only need to drag and drop one photo from the bracket into Insta360 Studio, and it will automatically put all the other bracketed photos together. The advantage of this workflow is that the media processing tab is available because these are .insp files, and I can further color grade the photo here. Let's take a closer look at the photo. You can see the light has a much better highlight roll-off. If you take a look at the window, it has less of a HDR effect. And if you take a look at the shadow area, it is less mushy. And this is a 18 megapixel photo. In workflow 4, I am using the same settings as workflow 3. In this workflow, I am going to work with the DNG files. So I am going to drag and drop one of the DNG files in the bracket into Insta360 Studio, and Insta360 Studio will automatically put together the other photos in the bracket. Now you can't edit a raw photo in Insta360 Studio, so I'm going to select the photo, go to Export, Export 360 Photo, and I'm going to change the folder to my project folder, stitch folder, in my bracketed folder, and I'm going to export all exposure photos and click Start Export. So previously in workflow 2, importing a DNG file into Affinity Photo does not work because of the hard line issue, but here's how it can work. After the photos have finished exporting from Insta360 Studio, in Affinity Photo, go to File, New HDR merge, uncheck these options, click Add. I will locate the folder with the photos I just exported. So I'll go to my Stitch folder, bracketed folder, and this folder is the output from Insta360 Studio. I will select the photos in ascending order, click Open, and OK. Now Affinity Photo is going to HDR merge the photos together natively, and by doing this, any editing applied to the 360 photo is going to be stitch line aware. So now if you color grade the photo, remove the tripod legs, or change the center point of the photo, there's not going to be a hard line in the photo after export. I have a plugin here called the Best 360 Virtual Tour Enhancer Effects, and this allows you to color grade the photo without a hard line appearing after export. It's a one-time fee, and it's one click of the preset to color grade your virtual tour photo. To remove the tripod legs from your photo, I will click the photo, go to Layer, Live Projection, Equirectangular Projection. I will look down at the tripod legs. I will select the In-Painting Brush tool. I will make a selection over the tripod legs. And now the tripod legs has magically disappeared. To save the photo, I will go to Layer, Live Projection, Remove Projection, and with the photo selected, I will go to File, Export, choose the best JPEG settings, Export, and I will save this photo in my project folder, Exports folder, in the bracketed folder, and give this photo a name. Click Save. Wait for the photo to export. Then I will open Insta360 Studio, and I'm going to import the photo I just exported. So I'll go to my Exports folder, the bracketed folder, and drag and drop this photo into Insta360 Studio, and this is the result. So let's take a closer look. And here you can see how nice the highlight roll-off is from the light onto the wall. The window is looking very natural, and in the shadows, it's way less mushy than the other previous workflows. And this is a 18 megapixel photo. Here is a comparison between the four workflows. I think workflow 1 is an average looking photo. It's good if you need something quick and small file sizes, but workflow 4 makes your $500 camera look like a $1,000 camera. It's a photo that you can be proud of to represent your work and feel good being paid to do so.